Okay, happy Sunday. We have a video for ZiiGaat's latest. And this is a tribrid. And if you are a subscriber, if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you are a subscriber, comment below this video, hit the like button. And this set that I'm talking about right now, this ZiiGaat tribrid, this effect audio cable, and this Linsol Hi-D's AP80 Pro Max, after it's reviewed, which will be in a few days, this whole kit's going to go to somebody in the comments below this video. I was going to do some of these bigger giveaways around Thanksgiving and Christmas, but I got so much stuff I can do it anytime. I'll do it right now. So you might score big time if you comment below this video. Now moving along. It's a tribrid. Let's take a look at the frequency response graph. I didn't do this because of my listening. I did this because I'm looking at the graphs and trying to get something that makes sense. This is the TA Audio Monarch. A couple things about that were a little bit, I thought was a little bit too intense, and also the pulled back mid bass kind of magnified that. This ZiiGaat Horizon, lined up at 1K, it's got some differences. It's got a little bit more meat on the bone. It's got a little bit more mid bass, a little bit more forward mids, a little less forward ear gain, that slope, that ski slope you see, and then 6, 7, 8. Is cut. Like all those 3 points I just mentioned is better tuning. So just on tuning, this is a better set than the OG Monarch, which is a very beloved set. A lot of people bought it. I think later people found it to be lean. No, it's not just the mid bass, it's the combination of the energetic forward up and those 2 points that I mentioned in concert with a kind of tucked mid bass. Put that all together and you have a very detailed, if not sometimes thin sounding set. This kind of rectifies that. Now this isn't a Monarch in its resolution and playback quality, but it's a better tune set, and it's a tribrid, and it's very capable in its own right. It's $329. It's a single DD. It's 2 branded balanced armatures and 2 planar tribrids that I believe are like the ones that look like BAs. They look like they're in like shoeboxes. So they got branded drivers in it. In the low end, the 808 Roland drops a significant. It's named after the piece of kit, the 808 Roland. That's actually why they're called 808 drops. Kendrick Lamar, who I'm listening to now, Public Enemy, Ghetto Boys, Nas, Wu-Tang Clan. This will do that, though it's not a bass headset. It's got plenty of bass, but it's not a bass headset. So if most of your library is hip-hop, EDM, trance, this might not be your thing. This is more leaning towards vocals, but it will do the drops well if you've got a bass headset that sometimes you use. This probably wouldn't take that place, so this is more of a general multi-genre type of listen, but it will do it. It's just not as emphatic as some other stuff. 4 and 5 string bass guitar, the pulls, the plucks, the release, the ringing of the strings. This actually does really nice. This was a problem with the original Monarch because it sounded very thin. It sounded kind of like, it was a combination. Remember, the bass guitar effectively goes out to about 6 kilohertz, even though it's called a bass guitar. It goes way out further. And the energy of the snaps and the ringing of the strings and the lack of mid-bass all contributed to a bass guitar that sounded audibly slightly skewed to what I normally hear. This actually sounds fine. I don't have the original Monarch to listen to right now, so I can't say, you know, A and B, and it sounds much better, but that doesn't stick out with this set, but it did with that. So it plays that back fine. As we get into Bonham's kick drum, the emphatic intro to the track from Led Zeppelin's 4th album, it's called When the Levee Breaks. Boom, 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 boom. That sounds good. This is where it's obviously not a bass headset, though, because it sounds like a produced kick drum, but it doesn't sound as emphatic as I would like it on some sets of earphones. It's the tuning. Tuning matters. Tuning's a big deal. You can have crap drivers, tune them bad, and they sound like crap. You can have crap drivers and tune them really good and get a pretty good set, because what is good and bad drivers is very much up for debate. There's not a lot of audible difference between them. In fact, if you put Belsings, Knowles, and Sonians all together, I don't think anybody could actually pick them out if they were tuned in a way that were within the specs that they were designed for. There's other things about that topic. So the kick drum is pretty good. The part where this does quite well is when we get into the vocals. This would almost be a vocal-centric set. Chris Cornell, Lane Staley, Nina doing the cover of Blondie. They all sounded fantastic. And of course the backing, the rhythm, the drums and the bass guitar, they sound good and when they're supposed to be. But this really sounds like a vocal centric set. Vocals sound very good and clean. The tuning isn't too forward. There's a little bit extra info in the mids that sounds nice. It's got a warm kind of musical engaging replay that some sets that are tuned like that I'm a big fan of. I think this is one of the better ZiiGaats. The harmonics of the vocals aren't overly emphasized or in my face. The vocals don't sound in center and on focus like in the solo constantly, like sometimes overly boosted ear gain or too forward in its angle of attack. Doesn't do that, so it sounds good in the vocals. So we get to the most sensitive part, which is the harmonics / overtones, which technically takes more individual hertz. Like I said, 55 hertz is one, 1155 is another. If we count all of the hertz, most of the frequencies are in the overtone / harmonics region when it comes to vocals. You see the green one and that 5, 6, 7 and that little boost there, and then the red one has less energy right there, and then after that even drops more, but it's not falling off too much. It's very close to my target in that sense. So the vocals sound natural. This wasn't a set that I ever thought this XYZ track is coming up, that's gonna be intense, or nothing like that. There's not a lot to say about the harmonics because I didn't think about them much, but that's really the best compliment I can possibly give to them, that I didn't think about them much, because if they were falling away and dark, I would be thinking about them, and if they were in my face and starting to make me feel like I was developing a ringing in my ear, I would definitely be thinking about them. But I didn't really think about the harmonics with this set because they sounded proper. Remember, this is a huge portion of what you're catching audible-wise in your ear. Just by frequency, it's in this region. This is where you can get offended, or you can feel like something's totally skewed. Like I said, the bass guitar before on another set, the original OG Monarch, the combination of the energy in the treble plus the tucked in mid bass gave the impression that there was something going on with that instrument that sounded abnormal, different than if I were in a room listening to somebody play the bass guitar at a live show or listening to any track on any kind of a system. It was skewed on the original Monarch. That itself sounds better on this, and it should be years later, trickle down, all of that stuff, and just better tuning in general. It gets the rec. I don't have to wave you off if you love a bass dominant playlist, but it's not a bass headset. That's not really a ding. They're not advertising it as such. That is the ZiiGaat Horizon. It's a very nice set. I thought that ZiiGaat was going to come into the area about where it is now and then let Thea take over beyond that. I don't know if that's still what the plan is. I really don't know any inside info about ZiiGaat. But it kind of looks like that's what they're going. So some people have said, oh, they've released a lot of stuff. This is spaghetti against the wall. And I'm thinking, it's their spaghetti. It's not yours. You just got to find reviewers who have similar library tastes and their previous recs match yours. I'm eating throat candy so I don't cough. Don't worry about what other companies are doing. If a company releases 10 or 20 sets, why would you care? That's their spaghetti on the wall. Each one of those noodles is their investment. And if you're getting burned because somebody's wrecking something and you don't think it's up to par, well then cross that person off your list. And if everything's awesome, then cross that person off your list too. So just be a smart shopper. It's a chance for you, actually. Instead of a slow burn where over the course of 2 years you discover, I really don't think this reviewer matches me and my personal taste, you could figure that out in a few months because you buy 2 or 3 sets and you realize consistently that this dude isn't talking to me. Like he's talking, but not to me, because I don't understand what he's saying. I listen to the music that he cites, but I don't agree with his takes. Knowledge is power. Doesn't matter if you agree with it. If you disagree, that's knowledge. Then you don't trust, respect, that's got nothing to do with it. Do your ears match the person that's speaking? If they do, follow along. If they don't, then move along. I guess that's the best way I could put it. So this is a ZiiGaat Horizon. It's available now. I thought that this was going to be dropped like tonight at 2 a.m., but apparently I misunderstood. It's the 5th in Japan. There's a time zone difference and everything, the international date line, all that. So you could purchase this right now. And if you bought the discount card, you get it at $50 cheaper, which is like $2 $280, I think, is what that is. So you guys have a great couple days, and I will see you in a couple days. And don't forget, you get this set, and then I'll send it with its original cable, and then you get the effect audio cable, and then you get the DAP. So you're getting a complete listening system. A complete listening system. That sounds very nice. You might score that. So go ahead and make sure that you hit the like button, please. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and get some of this. I ship anywhere around the world. You don't need to pay for anything. If anybody reaches out to you, it's a scam, because I announce publicly. And if anybody ever says you have to pay some kind of monies for IMs, it's a scam. I don't ever do that, so pay attention. And if people do that, report them to... I think YouTube's gotten better with that. Anyway, I'll let you guys go, and I am out.